Africa awakens slowly. First, light touches the distant edge of the horizon, barely separating sky from land. Shadows hesitate, then retreat, and the earth begins to breathe. Here, morning is not simply the arrival of day. It is a renewal. With the first rays of the sun, the savanna stirs. Grass bends beneath unseen movement. Birds fill the air with layered voices and warmth. Still gentle, still restrained, spreads across the land. Africa does not rush into the day. It unfolds gradually, as it has for millions of years. This is a continent where nature does not exist apart from time. Every moment is bound to deep history. Every movement follows a rhythm older than memory, older than humanity itself. The land remembers what has passed, the rains, the droughts, the migrations, the extinctions, and carries that memory forward, shaping what comes next. Africa holds some of the greatest natural diversity on Earth. Within its vast expanse lie scorching deserts and humid rainforests, towering mountains and endless plains, salt lakes, wetlands, and powerful rivers. These landscapes do not simply decorate the continent. They govern life here. They determine where water flows, where animals gather, where plants take root, and where survival is possible. Every ecosystem is the result of long adaptation, of balance repeatedly tested and re-established. The savanna forms the open heart of Africa, a place defined by space, light, and distance. The horizon stretches without obstruction, and the sky feels immense, almost overwhelming. At first glance, the savanna may seem empty, but it is anything but. Tall grasses ripple endlessly in the wind. Scattered acacia trees offer sparse shade. Termite mounds rise from the earth like ancient structures, quietly shaping the soil beneath them. Life here is spread wide, not concentrated, and it moves constantly. The savanna is the stage for the largest migrations on the planet. As seasons change, millions of animals begin to move. Antelope, zebra, wildebeest, and buffalo travel across vast distances, following patterns shaped long before the first human observed them. They do not carry maps. They do not choose paths. They follow rain, scent, instinct, and the memory of the land itself. These migrations are not dramatic events. They are necessities. Movement here is survival. Predators exist within this system, not above it. Lions watch patiently from low ridges, conserving energy beneath the sun. Their power lies not in constant motion, but in restraint. Cheetahs turn openness into speed, relying on brief moments of perfection. Leopards vanish into shadow, moving unseen through branches and grass. Each predator is shaped by the same land as its prey. There is no excess, no waste. Life and death are bound tightly together, inseparable. African nature does not soften its truths. It does not disguise struggle, nor does it exaggerate beauty. Everything exists in balance, sometimes delicate, sometimes brutal, always precise. Survival is never guaranteed. It must be earned again each day. Beyond the savanna, the land grows harsher. To the north, the Sahara stretches across the continent, an immense expanse of sand, stone, and sky. During the day, heat presses down relentlessly. At night, cold settles just as quickly. Here, life survives through discipline. Plants extend roots deep beneath the surface, searching for hidden moisture. Animals reduce movement, conserve water, and emerge only when conditions allow. Insects wait for darkness before revealing themselves. In the desert, every action has a cost, yet the Sahara has not always been empty. Long ago, rivers flowed across this land. Lakes shimmered beneath open skies. Grasslands supported animals now absent from the region. Ancient rock art, etched into stone, still records this lost world. Africa is a continent in motion, shaped by climate and time. Its deserts, forests, and plains are not permanent states, but chapters in an ongoing transformation. Closer to the equator, Africa changes again. Dense tropical rainforests rise beneath heavy clouds. Sunlight struggles to reach the forest floor, breaking into shifting patterns of green and gold. The air is thick with moisture, carrying the scent of earth, leaves, and decay. Everything here grows, falls, and grows again. These forests are among the most complex ecosystems on Earth, home to thousands of species bound together in fragile interdependence. Life in the forest exists in layers. High above, birds and primates move through the canopy. Below them, insects dominate the air and bark. On the forest floor, creatures adapted to shadow and silence navigate fallen leaves and roots. Each layer depends on the others. Remove one and the balance begins to unravel. Within these forests live gorillas and chimpanzees, our closest living relatives. Their gestures, expressions, and social bonds reflect echoes of our own past. Watching them, the boundary between humanity and nature feels thin, almost artificial. Here, it becomes clear that humans are not separate observers of the natural world. We are products of it. Rivers cut through Africa like living veins. They carry water, nutrients, and life across enormous distances. Along their banks, ecosystems gather. In dry seasons, rivers become lifelines. In wet seasons, they overflow, spreading fertility across floodplains. Waterfalls crash with immense force, reminding us that even water can shape stone and alter landscapes. Great lakes rest within the eastern reaches of the continent, some older than humanity itself. Isolated for millions of years, they have become centers of evolution, where species adapt in extraordinary ways. These waters show nature's patience, its willingness to experiment endlessly. Mountains rise suddenly from African plains, altering climate and life with elevation. Cooler air, mist, and forests replace heat and grass. Even near the equator, snow clings to the highest peaks. A quiet contradiction. These highlands shelter species found nowhere else. Their isolation makes them irreplaceable and vulnerable. Along Africa's edges, the land meets the ocean. The Atlantic and Indian Oceans bring currents, storms, and life. Coral reefs pulse with color and movement. Mangrove forests protect coastlines and nurture young fish. Beaches stretch wide and open beneath shifting skies. The ocean connects Africa to the rest of the planet through unseen pathways of water and energy. Africa does not favor sharp boundaries. One landscape fades gradually into another. Savanna becomes semi-desert. Forest thins into woodland. Wind moves freely across open ground, lifting dust, carrying seeds, spreading change. This wind is a silent messenger, shaping the future long before it arrives. Animals sense these shifts before humans ever do. Herds tighten, birds adjust their routes, insects retreat beneath the soil. Africa is never still. It is always speaking. Through movement, through silence, through rhythm, night settles over Africa with quiet certainty. The sun slips beyond the horizon, and the heat that pressed down on the land throughout the day begins to loosen its hold. The earth exhales. Temperatures fall quickly, shadows stretch and merge, and the continent reveals another layer of its life. Darkness here is not empty or still. It is active, alert, and charged with movement that replaces what daylight conceals. Sounds shift first. Insects rise into the air, weaving a continuous vibration. Distant calls answer one another across open space. The savanna does not sleep. It transforms. Nocturnal life moves with careful precision. Smaller predators slip through grass and shadow, relying on silence rather than force. Larger hunters advance slowly, conserving energy, allowing patience to do the work of speed. Prey animals respond by tightening their formations, remaining alert, listening for the smallest irregularity. In the dark, vision yields to sound and scent. Every rustle, every breath carries consequence. Here, survival depends not on aggression, but on awareness and restraint. In the desert, night brings relief and danger in equal measure. Sand that burned beneath the sun cools rapidly, releasing stored heat into the air. Life emerges almost instantly. Rodents, reptiles, and insects surface from beneath the ground, moving with urgency and purpose. Their existence unfolds within narrow windows of tolerable temperature. Every action must be completed before dawn. When light returns, the desert will once again become hostile. There is no margin for error in these places. Nature does not forgive hesitation. Across the continent, water defines movement and stillness alike. Rivers draw life toward them as surely as gravity. Along their banks, tracks overlap, paths converge, and the land bears the imprint of countless returns. These gathering places are charged with tension. Predators and prey arrive side by side, separated only by fragile rules shaped through generations of coexistence. No dominance is absolute here. Water erases hierarchy. All must approach with caution, drink quickly, and withdraw. As dry seasons extend, rivers fragment, flow weakens, channels collapse into isolated pools. Each becomes a temporary world governed by scarcity. Fish crowd into shrinking spaces. Birds gather in unfamiliar numbers. Large animals arrive from greater distances, testing their endurance. The land tightens its grip, yet even in these moments, life endures through patience. When rains finally arrive, the transformation is sudden and overwhelming. Dry channels fill within hours. Floodplains vanish beneath rising water. Long dormant seeds awaken. Movement resumes on a massive scale. In Africa, loss and renewal are not opposing forces. They are two faces of the same cycle. Rain reshapes Africa repeatedly. In some regions, it falls steadily, restoring balance over weeks. In others, it arrives violently, turning dust into torrents within minutes. Soil absorbs what it can, and the rest moves onward, carving new paths across the land. Rivers alter course, wetlands expand, then recede. Familiar landscapes are rewritten again and again. Nothing here is permanent, and nothing remains untouched. In the tropical forests, rain is constant, but its effects unfold quietly. Moisture circulates endlessly through leaves, branches, soil, and air. Water rises through transpiration, cools, and returns as rainfall. This closed cycle regulates temperature and stabilizes regional climates. It sustains life far beyond the forest itself. Disrupt it, and rivers weaken, seasons shift, and distant ecosystems feel the consequences. Within the forest, change rarely announces itself. A single fallen tree opens a gap in the canopy. Light, it reaches the ground. New plants take root. Insects arrive, followed by birds and mammals. What appears to be destruction becomes renewal. The forest does not resist disturbance. It absorbs it, reshaping itself around each event. Growth and decay exist simultaneously, inseparable. Africa contains ecosystems shaped by isolation and extremes. Salt lakes concentrate minerals until only the most specialized organisms can survive. Volcanic highlands support life on unstable ground, rich in nutrients and danger alike. Wetlands, quiet at the surface, conceal intricate networks of channels beneath. These environments often escape attention, yet they reveal the continent's deepest capacity for adaptation. Climate weaves all of this together. Africa's weather systems respond to distant oceans, shifting winds, and gradual changes in global temperature. Over decades and centuries, entire regions transform. Grasslands advance, then retreat. Forests expand, then thin. Species adapt, migrate, or disappear altogether. This process has always existed. What has changed is its speed. Human presence now intersects every ecosystem. Roads fracture migration routes. Settlements expand into plains, forests, and wetlands. Rivers are redirected, landscapes simplified, yet humans remain bound to the same rhythms as all other life. When rains fail, when floods arrive, when species vanish, the consequences echo immediately through human communities. Africa reveals again and again that separation between humanity and nature is an illusion. Despite pressure and loss, resilience defines this continent. Where devastation appears complete, recovery begins quietly. Grasses return to burn plains. Animals retrace roots older than memory. Forests reclaim cleared ground leaf by leaf. Recovery is slow, uncertain, and never guaranteed, but it remains possible. Africa teaches that stability is not stillness. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to absorb change without losing essence. Its nature does not seek control. It seeks balance. Endlessly, patiently, morning returns quietly. Light spreads across the land once more, revealing what the night concealed and what time continues to shape. The rhythms of Africa resume without pause, as they always have. Tracks left in dust during the darkness fade beneath the rising warmth. Birds reclaim the air. Movement begins again, not as repetition, but as continuation. Nothing here truly resets. Everything carries forward. Across the plains, herds begin to move once more. Their paths are never random. Each step follows invisible lines drawn by water, memory, and survival. These routes cross valleys and rise over gentle slopes, threading together distant regions into a single living system. Movement connects ecosystems that appear separate. What happens in one place echoes far beyond it. In the savanna, the day reveals subtle details overlooked at a distance. Insects pollinate grasses and flowers, sustaining the foundation of the entire food web. Termites reshape the soil, aerating it, redistributing nutrients, altering vegetation patterns across wide areas. Small actions accumulate into vast consequences. In Africa, scale is deceptive. What appears insignificant often proves essential. Heat builds steadily as the sun climbs. Animals adjust their behavior accordingly. Some retreat to shade, others continue feeding, aware that time is limited. Water holes shrink under evaporation. Every choice carries weight. Energy must be spent carefully. Africa does not reward excess. It rewards efficiency. Farther south and east, wetlands breathe with seasonal rhythm. Floodwaters rise and fall, transforming dry ground into shallow seas and back again. Fish spawn in newly flooded grasses. Birds arrive from distant continents, drawn by abundance that exists only briefly. When waters retreat, nutrients remain behind, feeding the land long after the surface has dried. These cycles sustain life far beyond their boundaries. Along riverbanks, vegetation thickens, forming corridors of green through otherwise dry landscapes. These ribbons of life allow species to travel, to migrate, to survive extremes. Without them, entire regions would fracture into isolation. Rivers do not simply supply water, they connect worlds. In the forests, daylight reveals constant motion. Leaves turn toward light. Insects continue their work unseen. Animals move through layered space, rarely touching the ground. The forest does not pause for observation. It continues regardless of witnesses. Its complexity is not designed to be understood easily. It exists because it works. Time in Africa is written into the land itself. Rock formations record ancient oceans. Sediments preserve traces of vanished climates. Fossils reveal worlds that no longer exist. Change is not an interruption here. It is the rule. The continent has endured shifting tectonic plates, advancing and retreating ice ages, rising and falling seas. Life responded each time, adapting or giving way. The present moment is no exception. Temperatures rise, rainfall patterns shift. Some regions grow drier, others wetter. Species face pressures unlike those before. Some will adapt, others will not. Africa's nature does not promise preservation of form. It promises continuation of process. Human presence now plays an undeniable role in that process. Choices made far beyond the continent influence its future. Emissions alter climate. Consumption drives loss. Yet action can also protect. Conservation, restoration, restraint. These too shape outcomes. Africa reflects consequences clearly. What is done to the land returns to those who depend upon it. Still, even under strain, Africa endures. Its systems bend but do not vanish easily. Diversity provides resilience. Complexity allows recovery. Where one species declines, another may rise. Where one landscape shifts, new balance may emerge. This does not lessen loss, but it reveals strength. As evening approaches once more, the light softens. Shadows lengthen. Heat loosens its hold. The cycle turns again. Africa moves forward, not toward an ending, but through continuity. What exists now is not what existed before, and not what will exist next. Yet the essence remains. This continent does not offer spectacle alone. It offers perspective. It reveals a world governed not by control, but by relationship. Not by permanence, but by adaptation. Life here persists because it listens to climate, to land, to time. Africa does not ask to be mastered or simplified. It asks to be understood. And in observing its rhythms, the rise and fall of water, the movement of herds, the quiet labor of forests and soil, one truth becomes clear. Nature does not exist to serve, it exists to continue. And as long as Africa's landscapes shift beneath sun, wind, and rain, the earth continues its ancient work, shaping life not through dominance, but through balance, resilience, and time.